Hi, this is Giri Ramakrishnan, your Distrib360 contact. Today I'll be doing a demo of the Distrib360 data capture portion of the product. As part of this demo, I'll be showing you how a distributor or a manufacturer would get initially set up in the system. And once set up, then how you are able to enter orders and payments into the system. The version of the product that I would be using is the one which shows distributors and stores, but there is a similar version available which shows the manufacturers and distributor, or a manufacturer and a customer. This is the login screen for the Distrib360 product. You enter your ID and password. The first screen that you see is the order taking and the payments taking screen. So we'll get into this a little bit later. What I'll show you first is when a new distributor or a manufacturer comes in, then what is the initial setup. So when a new distributor comes in, then pretty much we first set up that distributor information. Now, similarly, if it's a manufacturer, out here it will say manufacturer, it will be manufacturer information gets set up. So what's captured is obviously the distributor information, the address information, contact details, and so on and so forth. The sample data that I have here is a distributor based in Chennai. So this is Mahalakshmi Marketing and details of that particular distributor. Now, similarly, the second piece of information is now this distributor has about 20 stores as customer. So all of those 20 stores is set up here. So if we double click, then pretty much the store information gets set up here, which is also very similar. That is the address and the contact details, etc. Now, like I said, if it's a manufacturer and customer, then this would say customer out here, and you would have similar information set up for that. For the most part, whenever you see these stars, those are really the required fields. As far as the other fields are concerned, you can leave them blank too, but it's obviously better to fill them out. So once these two pieces of information are set, then we also fill the salesperson information. Now again, the concept is, if in your case it's a sales channel, then we could make an appropriate change where this would be sales channel and some of these fields would reflect appropriately. But in this particular case, it's a salesperson in this use case scenario, so to speak. So it captures the salesperson information. All of the screens here are very much similar. So it's really, if you want to enter a say new salesperson, then it's like once you enter one of them, then more or less everything is similar. And I also have most of the times, I would have these kind of drop downs out here wherein you can make a appropriate selection. Only those where it is, you have to fill them, like in this case, the name information or the phone information. That's what you have to fill. So similarly, the other thing which gets set up is the deal information. So this is, if you give deals as part of your sales process, you set up all of your different deals. So 2% discount, 3% discount, summer sale discount, whatever that you wish to offer. So this again is just setup data. So this is not really linking with the actual sale right now. It's just you can go ahead and set up all your different deals that you want to give, and you can also obviously initially just do a few and then later on keep adding based on whatever promotions that you decide to do. So it's really setup data. The linking I'll show you, when you actually enter the order, that's where the linking happens. And again, for those sales processes where you don't have a concept of a deal, you can actually just use this no discount, and we'll just link the no discount to the order, and that works fine too. So that's what it is. So this is really the initial set of information that gets set up. Now let's just go ahead and see how the product information gets set up. So again, this particular distributor is selling grocery items to about 20 stores in Chennai. So these are all the different grocery items out here. So as far as the Distrib360 product is concerned, you can actually be any type of distributor, any type of manufacturer. selling any product. So it's your product information which would actually get set up out here. So let's just double click one of these and see. So in this case, this was Amul flavored mango yogurt, and this product is associated with a brand which is Amul. And similarly, we have a concept of subcategory, or what we call groups and subgroups. So it's this is a yogurt, so it falls under subgroup of yogurt and a group of dairy. So I'll just explain to you as we go along in this particular concept. Then you put in the GST rate for the product out here. In this case, it's 5%. Then other information, whatever the rate at which you want to sell it. And if you want to input, then you can input the cost information, but it's all up to you. Like I said, it's only the stars which are necessary. Others you can leave blank based on what you want. So this is really what gets set up. So it's really depending on the number of products that you have. That's why I said this could be maybe a few hours process, this initial setup, or it could be a few days, depending on really the amount of data which has to be set up. In this case, there are 55 products, so obviously it takes some time. In your case, if there are say 200 products, it's a different time. But if on the other hand, if you have only 5 products, then obviously the amount of time it takes is not much. So this product again is associated with a brand. So these are brands for obviously grocery items. So it's really depending on the type of product in which industry you are in, it will be the appropriate brand names. So that's what is there. And in cases, where maybe even if it's non-branded, we can just say non-branded and then, put an entry out here. So that's what it is. Then for each of these products, there's this concept of grouping and subgrouping, or we call category and subcategory. So in this case, like we said, beverages is a group or a category, and in which you have coffee and tea. These are subgroups. So a particular product, a tea product, would fall under this particular subgroup and this group of beverages, and similarly a coffee product would come in here. Now this categorization we really do because this helps a lot in terms of analysis, and it's usually good when there are a lot of products. Then you can group and subgroup them and you can do really good analysis with it. Now what would happen is it's depending on your industry and your products, howsoever classification we have to do, we'll just go ahead and do this initial grouping and subgrouping for you. So it's really based on how you want to do your analysis. This is completely customizable. So for example, say if you're selling saris, you could actually just maybe do a subgrouping based on color. You can say red color saris, or you can say green color saris, and then that way you're able to actually go ahead and see green color saris sold more or red color saris sold more in a particular town, and those kinds of things. So it's really, and so you can do groupings, subgroupings based on color. You can do it based on type. You can do it based on size. Any variation, any which way by which you differentiate your products, you can actually go ahead and set up these groups and subgroups. So what we'll do is initially when we come in and do the setup data, we'll basically see if you already have a concept of group, subgroup, we can use that. Otherwise, we can just create a few initially, and then later on you can create based on as you get and do more analysis, you can actually create. And we can also have something called others. So if you don't know where to put, we can put it into something called others are not applicable for initially. And then once you kind of get to know how you want to do your analysis, you can set it up that way. Again, packages, because these are grocery items, they are sold in these different packages. So this comes into play. So depending on, again, your products, whether package is applicable or not, really depends. Otherwise, we can say not applicable or other. So that's really what it is. So we saw, setting up of products, and we saw setting up of all of your information, the distributor information and your customer information, and the sales channel or salesperson information, and so on and so forth. So now, really, once this data gets set up, then the next thing that you do is actually you can go ahead and enter your orders and enter your payments. And that's really what this system is all about. So if you actually go in here, this is the first screen that we came into. So you see some existing orders out here, 319, and this is for a particular store, and it's got 2 items out here. So just select the 314, then it's got a couple of items out here. Let's just go ahead and maybe enter a couple of orders out here and see how it goes. So just click here, and we are trying to now enter a new order. So we just go ahead and say order due date. The order date is today's date, and obviously again, when you see here these crosses, make sure that you're not able to enter a due date which is less than today. So that's the order due date. Let's say we are entering a new order, and this order is for, say, a particular store, or in your case, whichever customer it is. Let's say Chintamani department store, and whichever sales channel or salesperson, whatever is relevant, then for this order, so that salesperson is the one in charge for this order. So initially you don't have any order items, so it's a 0. So now let's enter a couple of products in here. So when I entered the product, immediately you saw a tax coming in. This is the GST tax that we entered for a product. That's what comes in and comes into our calculations. Then say this product we are not giving any discount, so it's a 0 discount. Let's say we are selling 5 of these. So that's one part. I'll just explain these calculations a little bit later. So let's just go ahead and save this line item. So second, let's enter one more item. In this case, let's say we take Mother Dairy blueberry yogurt. Let's say we are going to give it a 2% discount, and let's say we want to sell about 10 of these. Okay, so now we went ahead and we entered one order, and we entered a couple of items to it. It's just gone ahead and it's done its own calculations, and it's told you what the total for the order is. Similarly, out here, if you click here, you'll actually see overall how an invoice would look. Though this is not really the printed invoice. The really good printed invoice you can see, when you see the analytics video. So out there, you'll actually be, once we did this, immediately actually the invoice is available if you use the reporting system. So this order, now we saw these are 2 items out here. Now let's maybe just go ahead and now let's see the calculations which are there for how this order comes into play. So if you see the this item, Kellogg's almond corn, I said no discount, so it was 0. So sold 5 of these. So there's a unit price of 153. So it's really this 153 into 5 is the gross amount for this particular order detail. Then because there is no discount, it's 0. So the pre-tax amount in this line item is the 765. Then there's a 5% tax. So that 5% of the 765 is this 38.25. Net due is really net pre-tax plus the tax amount, which is 765 plus 38 is what this 803.25 is. So that's really the calculation for this. Let's take one more, so a little bit more clear. So this is a second product, Mother Dairy yogurt. In this case, we gave a 2% discount. So let's say 10 of these are sold. So unit is 20. So the 20 into 10 is the gross amount. 200 is the gross amount for this. Then because of this 2% discount out of this 200, that's 4 rupees. So actual pre-tax amount is 200 minus 4, that's 196. Then similarly, again, this one has a GST tax rate of 5%. So 5% of 196 is 9.8. So then you add the net pre-tax and the tax amount. This is the due amount, 205.8. So for every line item, you have the due, and then the total due is obviously all of the total. So that's really what it is in terms of how the order gets calculated to. The other things that you can actually do in this is, like you see set of orders, lots of things which make your life easy. You can actually just select a store and you're able to actually go ahead and filter out and go to a particular order whenever you want to. So that's one easy way of getting to an order. Then lots of other things that you can do is all these fields here, they're all sortable. So anytime you want to go to a field, you can easily just sort and you can get to that particular field. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, like in all these filters, you can just enter the first letter, and that will also show up the appropriate store, and you can go directly to that store if that's what you're dealing with. The other way in which you can actually get to all of the orders is this order status. Like I said, you can use the order status for every order out here. There's a concept of status. Initially, it's active when we entered this order, but later on, as you go along, you can say shipped or cancelled or closed and so on and so forth. So that's what it is. So let's maybe just let's leave this here. Let's now maybe just see if you want to look at some closed orders in the system. So if you say this, then you can immediately get to some of the closed orders in the system. So this is another way of getting to appropriate order, so to speak of. So I showed you how you can enter an order, and I showed you the calculations for how the order gets done. And the other things which you can do in the system is obviously enter payments. So I'll just show you how to enter maybe a couple of payments out here. So just go here. Again, all these things are basically just tabs. Pretty much all of them are just click and you can get into the appropriate tab and you can go ahead and do your work. So that makes life easier. So as far as payments are concerned, this is showing the list of payments right now. So let's maybe enter a new payment. So when you want to enter a new payment, payment is against any given invoice. So it shows here these different things. These are some of these unpaid invoices. So select one and select Smita Supermarket. And then let's say, this particular Smita Supermarket, there's an invoice of 301, and this is the amount which is got to be paid. So let's say this amount is being paid now, 3,529 and point say 7. And let's say, fully paid. So once you do that, immediately what happens, you say in this payment, there is a payment entry coming in here, and it also shows that the invoice has been paid out here. So that's something which comes into play. And like again, same thing, when we entered an order, we entered an order 320 for Chintamani. Once that order gets entered, immediately actually you have a invoice out here also, which got created at that same time. And initially, it said unpaid. And like when we put a payment now and said paid, then this status gets paid, so to speak of. At any given point in time, with regards to all of your different invoices, you will be able to again easily go to say unpaid invoices. So in this case, these are unpaid invoices out here. And then that will you can actually go in and track those unpaid invoices if you want. So that's one thing which you can do here. And same thing. I mean, right here you can see all of these other ones also. If you want to see your paid, then your paid and parked if you want to do that. So it's just a way of filtering things out and looking at information. And so that's pretty much it really. This system, like I showed you, entering one payment and entering one order out here. And that's really what it is. Once you enter these pieces of information, once you enter your orders and once you enter your payments, then all this is actually flowing into the analytics system. And as of now, immediately it's available in the analytics system. And you are able to actually do 90% of the things in the analytics system. So like I said, this particular the order taking and payments taking is maybe, let's say, maybe 20% of the work. It's really 80% of what you will be doing is in the analytics system. Other than this, let me show you. The other thing that you can do is you see this tab called user admin out here. What you're able to do is you're able to set up different types of users for this particular system. Say now the one that you're seeing is a owner role right now, the screens that you're seeing. But you want to just give your salespeople access to the system, but you don't want them to see certain tabs out here. So then what happens is, in that particular case, you can just actually go in as a owner and create new sales role by yourself. So let's say Govind is a person who works as a salesperson for you, and you are setting up a user role for him. So we just set up a user role for Govind. Okay, now let's just go ahead and log out and see what Govind has access to. Once set up, now we are entering using the sales role. So using sales role, again, Govind has access to entering orders, looking at the invoices, this particular entire screen, and entering payments, because that's really what the salesperson would do, enter orders and enter payments. But the things that he does not have access to really are, so in the sale, he is not able to set up he doesn't have the user admin and other things. So he's not able to actually do all those types of stuff. And he's also not able to see other salesperson information. So as of now, he can set up a new distributor. He can set up a customer, because they are the ones visiting the customer. So they are able to make changes to the customer. And similarly, if there are deals that can be set up, then as of now, we are allowing them. But these things are changeable depending on your business. If you don't want the deals to be shown, then we can look at that. The other thing is, as far as the salespeople are concerned, in this scenario, they are not able to actually go into the product at all. So the product and whatever you set up, your cost information, other things, that's only accessible by the owner role. So the sales role does not have any access to the product information. So it's really the sales role, the primary job is entering orders and entering payments. And for the most part, they can change when you have new distributors or new customers, then because they are the ones interacting with customers, they're able to change some of that information out there. So that's really what it is. So let me just log out. So to kind of summarize on what we did, this particular system is really maybe 20% really. So it's really the analytics system is 80% of the Distrib360 product. The basic objective here, as I showed you, was to enter orders and enter payments, and obviously after an initial setup of data. So once that's done, pretty much anything and everything, once you enter a piece of data out here, immediately it's available in the analytics system, and there is a huge array of sales and payments related analytics which is available out there. So that's really the reason why we built this system. The primary reason is for small businesses and medium businesses to be able to actually do and use a lot of analytics as part of their day-to-day processes. So my suggestion would be is once you watch these particular video, kindly go ahead and you can watch both sales analytics and payments analytics related videos, because that will kind of complete the picture and give you a good idea in terms of what this system really does. So for all those who've taken the time to watch this video, thanks for watching, and talk to you later. You can always reach me at giri_home@yahoo.com.